Well, my inspiration for you today, and I try to give you something to inspire you each and every week so that I just want you to know that this is a journey, but it's a doable journey, and don't get weary in well doing. Let's just get her done, as I've heard that expression. What I have learned today, as part of my inspiration, I want to share what I have learned as a self-published author, and that is that you are a self-published author. So now what? So what you want to do is that you want to start stretching and adding platforms in which you can promote your book and share your message. And so you're always looking for opportunity to spread your book message. So understand something. As a self-published author, yes, you will have to sometimes manage or do a lot of the efforts yourself, or you can hire a team if your budget allows for you to do that, to do those things for you. But regardless of which way you go, over time, you're going to be able, if you continue to persevere, you're going to be able to get the job done and become or make it as successful as God has intended for you to seek to succeed at it. So I just want to welcome you to Clayton Communications and Publishing, our Facebook online newsletter, where we turn your stories into books. And I am your host, Coach Blondie. And today I want to talk about your book and bookstores. Well, what type of bookstores? If you're young, you probably have not heard this term brick and mortar, but those are the ones you see those in those buildings in your community or online bookstores. And so I want to start off by talking about the brick and mortar or the local bookstore. Now, if you're going to go to a local bookstore, your book definitely has to have a barcode. And this is a barcode because that is the retail sales. That is the code that they will scan in when there's a sale. So you're familiar with that. And that is what you, if you're thinking about going to a bookstore, what you need. So when you do your book, whoever publishes your book will probably do that for you. When you approach a local bookstore, the best thing to do is for you to approach it in person and get to meet the manager. They get to meet you because the space in a bookstore in bookstores is limited. It's prime space, and they're not going to bring books in and welcome those books in if those books are not going to sell out. They're looking for books that can come in that of people who have or who have some visibility, and then those people, when they have the books, then people will be drawn into their stores to also pick up or buy a copy of that book. Now, the well-known authors don't have the same situation as we do, and they don't have any problems finding space in local bookstores. It's just an automatic almost. But all is not lost. You can approach the manager with a proposal. And I would suggest that you sit down and think about, okay, how can you benefit that bookstore, that local bookstore, before you even go there? And you don't want to go there without some kind of a plan because you're going there with the intent that they are going to want you to come in and do something because they are going to benefit from it. So you ask he or she if they're open to new customers. And if they say yes, then of course now you say, well, I have a proposal for you. I would like to do a book, a themed book party here at your local store. And I'll do all the work. I'll invite my friends and family and customers probably who've never come into your store. And also I'll do some advertising on Facebook, Instagram, and in Eventbrite and places like that to help draw customers in. So it's not going to cost you anything, and you really don't have to do anything because I and my team are going to do everything for you and even bring the books or make sure that you have the books that are going to be sold that day. And of course, you do want to make your theme attractive. You don't want a deadpan, theme. You make it more benefit driven type of theme. And I'm not going to go into that here because I've already talked about that, and you can find that on one of the other videos on how to create those things. Anyway, book parties do not have to always be done in bookstores. They can be done. Your friends and your family can you host your book, or your themed book party. Now, there are some bookstores that would take books on consignment. They don't want to spend their money and buy a book and that's just going to sit there. So they may let you leave some books there on a consignment. And I'm going to tell you from experience, try not to leave more than maybe 3 to 5 books. Okay, if they run out, then you can always replace those. But 3 to 5 books, because chances are, here's what happens in bookstores, and I'm sure if you've ever been in a bookstore, you are aware of it. People come in the bookstore, they're eating, their hands are greasy, they turn the pages and their hands are greasy, and the books get stained. And when a book gets stained, you cannot sell that book. Yeah, if you have any kind of integrity, you're not going to sell that book. So whatever you consign, you might as well, if that's the case, you might as well just throw it away and pick it up and throw it away. What you can do is you can just have the manager to put out a couple of books and then give him some extras behind the counter so that if people are interested in buying it, then he can sell them a brand new or more cleaner copy of the book. I have at times put books when I started out because I didn't know any better. I have taken books there, let's say 4 or 5 books, and placed it there. And when I got back, or I actually forgot that they were even there for a couple of months. And of course, you can imagine what it looked like by the time I got back to that spot or had somebody go back to that spot and pick them up. So I'm speaking from somewhat of experience, okay? And if you do place books there, go back within a week and make it a regular routine. Or if not, you have somebody go back, check the books, and just to see what's going on. I have always liked the theme book party idea rather than and just a boring book signing. Give me something you want to try to, because you're an unknown. You're always looking for a way to grab a hold of those customers' attention, and so that they can get to know who you are. And in a bookstore setting, you really don't know. I've done theme book parties for authors, along with authors. And what I have discovered, when you go into certain venues like a bookstore, you never know who might join your crowd and become a customer of your book. So that's a good situation, a win-win type of situation. And it's good for the store owner, it's good for or the manager, and it's good for you because you're able to make sales. And of course, if they have quite a crowd come in there, people are not just going to come in a bookstore and just go for one thing. They're going to mill around, or you can even tell them while you're here, please look around. And if there's something that you need, I'm sure we have it, or whatever the store's name is, they have it here in the store. But at least look around and support our local store owners and or bookstore owners. And of course, that's probably just going to make that person feel real good. If you are invited to do a themed book party at a bookstore, work out the percentage of sales details beforehand so there's no misunderstanding when everything is done. So now I want to turn now to the online distribution. Online, you can have a website. It doesn't have to be a lot of pages. You can have a one-page website where you can just put your book and the information to promote your book. Because sometimes people ask you, well, are you online or are you in Amazon or something like that? But if you have your own one page and it's not that expensive, then of course they would still be able to access your book. And in that case, online, you probably need to have a few books in inventory, like maybe 25 books, maybe 10, but always have some books of that you can yourself, maybe, because people may say, oh, you got a copy of your book, and then you can pull out and give them that copy. Sometimes if it's a matter of them going ahead and ordering it online, chances are they're not going to do that. A lot of times, some will and some won't. But you want to always be prepared. But if you were published by, let's say, an online publisher, then there's a good chance that with that online publisher, they have already, once your book is published, they put it into their bookstore. And so that's a good thing. And that's something I think that they do automatically. You can also pay somebody a monthly fee to have your book placed in an online bookstore. That's up to you if you have the budget and you want to do it. Sometimes some things in this business you're going to have to learn through trial and error, but I have chosen not to do that. If I'm going to pay somebody, I'm going to pay somebody to perhaps do a worldwide distribution of information where they can access my book rather than paying somebody just to put my book in that particular spot, unless they're offering you they put your book there and they're going to give you worldwide distribution, local and worldwide distribution. That might be worth the investment. Amazon is really one of the largest worldwide distributors. And when you come through their KDP or their Kindle Direct Publishing program, you can get worldwide access to for your book. Barnes and Noble has joined the self-publishing group, and they now have a division, a self-publishing division, and you can choose their platform to publish, and you will have access to book distribution worldwide, and plus be among all the other, visible people that are putting their books in Barnes and Noble. And if you are looking for, and let's say someone, and this is just like I said in the beginning, you want to keep adding different platforms where you can host your book or that your book can be placed. And one of the resources that I have worked with is Fiverr. I've chosen creators from Fiverr who could make certain distributions local and worldwide. And you might want to try that at fiverr.com. So, in closing, there are some advantages to local bookstores and online. And the online bookstores, you have a wider distribution and visibility, no doubt about that. And you also don't have to have a physical presence, and you have little or no inventory to contend with at the time. But the only challenge that may not work well for you, it's worked well for myself and many others, is the royalties, how they pay their royalties. Some may pay right away, and some may wait 60 days. And that's good, because if books are returned, you don't want to have collected the money and all of a sudden now you got to give that money back. Or basically, what they're going to do is just take it out of the next royalty that they were going to pay you. Okay. If you're doing the local bookstores, of course, you have to be more involved, or you develop a team. And that team helps to prepare for setting up making the contact. Well, I think personally you should make the contact with the store manager, but have your team working on setting things up, getting, together the theme, whatever your theme is going to be. And also, you would need some inventory, and it will require your physical presence. Okay, so you just make sure that you know that going in, so that there is a little more involved with the when you're doing the bookstore, but it is fun. You get to meet people, they get to meet you personally, one on one, and you can just have a blast with that situation. And the other thing with the local bookstores is that you may have an audience that come in, but they may not necessarily buy you a copy of your book. But don't let that discourage you, because you come, you've presented, you have met the people. Just enjoy the moment, even though they didn't buy then. But if you have the right attitude, then they may go and buy your book anyway at a later time. So don't get don't get all bent out of shape just because you didn't sell out like you wanted to. And I have seen some traditionally published authors have been standing near them when the customers weren't coming to their table, and they just straight up had an attitude. Don't be like that. Okay. If this information has been helpful to you, then please share it with family and friends. And any questions that you have about publishing, send me an email at coach23blondie@gmail.com. And until next time, Coach Blondie signing off. Keep the faith.